Have you ever experienced déjà vu? You could be walking down a street or having a conversation and suddenly feel like you've already lived this exact moment. Déjà vu, meaning already seen in French, suggests we've encountered a situation before, yet we know we haven't. Scientists theorize that this phenomenon occurs when our brain processes memories faster than we are consciously aware of them. Either way, déjà vu is fascinating. In today's video, we'll dive into a creepypasta about a feeling of familiarity, the Salt Bride of al-Mazra'ah. Let's get into it. Soft, ambient wind, distant call to prayer fading into silence. Tone.com foreboding. In the heart of the Jordanian desert where the winds blow dry secrets across abandoned fields, there lies a village known only to the old maps and older tongues. Al-Mazra'ah, time forgot it. Roads curved away from it. Yet in the silence of dusk, the villagers still draw their water from the same cracked well, murmur the same bedtime prayers, and avoid speaking of the Salt Bride. A quick note here. A lot of creepypastas take place in remote locations like the woods or abandoned buildings, because it allows the story to be somewhat being isolated often means fewer witnesses and less interference from authorities. It can also establish a sense of dread and amplify the vulnerability of the characters. This story was submitted by an anonymous user. They start off by establishing the setting and tone, which is important because the location serves as a character in and of itself. We immediately notice the use of sensory details, such as the wind blowing dry secrets in the silence of dusk. This helps us become immersed in the world they're creating. The mention of avoiding speaking of the Salt Bride also sparks our curiosity and sets up a sense of foreboding. Now let's look at these next few sentences. Lena was a city girl, an ambitious freelance journalist from Amman 31, fiercely independent, emotionally frayed from years of chasing half-published stories and fading relationships. This paragraph tells us about our protagonist, Lena, but instead of simply stating facts, we get a glimpse into her personality and backstory. Words like fiercely independent and emotionally frayed paint a picture of someone who has built walls around herself, likely due to past experiences of rejection, both professional and personal. Her job as a journalist adds another layer of complexity because it requires her to confront difficult and sometimes unsettling topics, which may have contributed to her emotional state. As the narrative unfolds, we'll see how these traits shape her actions and how they contribute to the story's central conflict. Now listen to this. When she received an anonymous email titled "The Bride Who Cries Salt," with a location pin dropped deep in al-Mazra'ah, she assumed it was another local ghost story, but something in her got twisted as she read the message. If you find a well, pour no water. If you hear the weeping, do not answer. And if she asks to come in, never say yes, no matter how familiar she seems. This is an excellent example of foreshadowing. Not only does it hint at potential danger, but it also raises questions about the nature of the bride's existence and her connection to Lena. The instructions serve as a warning and they create suspense, making us wonder what would happen if Lena were to ignore them. Notice the careful pacing here. Our narrator takes us from the general to the specific. First, we're introduced to the village of al-Mazra'ah and the legend of the Salt Bride. Then the story focuses on Lena and her encounter with the mysterious email. This gradual approach keeps us engaged and allows us to connect with the characters before diving into the most terrifying elements of the tale. Next, we have this passage. Curiosity, of course, is the curse of every good journalist. Lena packed a recorder, camera, and a copy of Desert Spirits, Legends of the Levant, and headed south. She arrived just before Maghrib prayer on a Friday, the village smothered in an eerie stillness. No children, no vendors, just crumbling stone houses and elders staring from behind half-closed shutters. The only one who spoke to her was Khalid, a hunched woman with San-Juan skin and eyes like fog. "She's still waiting," the woman whispered. "She never stops waiting. You city girls don't understand longing, the kind that dries your soul like salt on the sea." Lena asked who she was. Khalid spat on the ground and pointed toward a path that led to a grove of dead olive trees. "Ask the well." There's a nice blend of action and description in this section. We see Lena preparing for her journey and learning more about the village and its inhabitants. The author uses sensory details to bring the setting to life. For example, the village being smothered in eerie stillness creates a palpable sense of unease. The character of Khalid adds another layer of mystery to the story. Her cryptic warning and refusal to provide more information heighten the sense of dread and make the well even more ominous. The following passage is a masterful example of building suspense and creating a chilling atmosphere. Listen closely. That night, Lena followed the path by flashlight. It cut through brittle soil and silence, ending in a clearing where a stone well crouched in the moonlight. Thick salt crystals rimmed its edges, as if it had wept itself dry. She lowered her recorder, crouched, and whispered, "Is there anyone here?" A breathless sob rose from below. Startled, Lena jerked back. The sobbing turned into a quiet wail. Not quite human, not quite wind. This sequence is filled with vivid imagery. The well being described as crouching in the moonlight adds a sense of personification, making it more ominous. The salt crystals are a striking detail that foreshadows the bride's presence and emphasizes the theme of tears. The sudden appearance of the sobbing and wailing further heightens the suspense, making us as uneasy as Lena feels. And then comes this. Her blood froze. She had never given her name. And the voice, it sounded like her mother's. No, it was almost her voice. Distorted, aged, full of loss. Who are you? Your reflection, your regret, your childless nights, your abandoned promises. Say it. Let me in. This is a pivotal moment in the story. Lena discovers a connection between herself and the mysterious voice coming from the well. The revelation that the voice is like her mother's adds an emotional layer, suggesting a potential family link or a shared history. This discovery prompts Lena to seek answers, and the repetition of Say It intensifies the urgency of the voice's request. As we reach the climax of the story, we see Lena wrestling with her own thoughts and emotions. The lines, your reflection, your regret, your childless nights, your abandoned promises are particularly powerful because they delve into Lena's psyche. The voice seems to be taunting her, reminding her of her deepest fears and insecurities. This psychological torment adds a new dimension to the horror, blurring the line between reality and Lena's internal struggles. And finally, we have the resolution. By the end of the week, she no longer remembered which side of the glass she belonged to. The villagers say the woman eventually opened the window, that she disappeared the same night. But some Fridays, just before Maghrib, you might see a figure wandering the olive grove, barefoot, eyes empty, skin dusted in salt. She calls out for someone, sometimes in your voice. If you hear her, do not answer. And whatever you do, never say her name. This ending is both haunting and thought-provoking. The ambiguity surrounding the bride's fate leaves us with more questions than answers. Did she escape, or was she trapped forever? The final lines serve as a warning to the reader, blurring the line between fiction and reality. It's a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved. Overall, this creepypasta effectively uses elements of setting, character development, foreshadowing, and psychological horror to create a truly unsettling tale. What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. See you soon.